Welcome, everybody, to the Center for Spiritual Living Reading. We have a song from Darian Call.
Hello. Ooh, sorry, that was my tuner. So I have something a little different for the opening song today. I heard this one from a friend, and the closest thing I can describe it to is just like, for me, what love sounds like and feels like. And I would like to play it for you guys today. And it is called Bricks, and it's by an artist called Hooray for the Riff Raff. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a little different, but I want you to picture the person you love the most when you hear this, because that's what I think when I listen to the song.
That was amazing, Darian. Thank you. I'm Christy Carr. I'm your practitioner for the day. I want to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, where we inspire and empower people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. I don't see Shirley. I guess I will be doing the treatment after the service. I'll meet you by the bell. Let's invite the children up and wave to the camera. That was weird. I would like to I'd like to thank all the wonderful people in service for today. In the audio-visual department, we have Joey and Lindy. Our board member is Jane. The bookstore is Jill. And audio and visual. Said that already, didn't I? The musicians, we have Judy here and Darian. Thank you, Darian. That was wonderful, by the way. And our ushers and greeters, we have Doug and Ronnie. Thank you so much. Do we have any newcomers here today? Please raise your hand. Right here. Wonderful. Welcome. Did you already get your packet? Okay, wonderful. If you'd like to have a tour in the back of the property today, I'd love to take you after the service. And we have some announcements. I'll have Mary start with the announcements.
This is from Reverend Sue. She wasn't feeling well today, so I hurriedly put together a talk, but I have her main announcement that the center continues to watch the Shasta County statistics on COVID, and there's been quite an increase lately, if you didn't know. And so due to that, we're only having coffee and tea in the social hall. Usually we have lunch for everyone, and we'll do that until the number of cases slows down. For those who are watching, we still have a spacious sanctuary here with lots of space to make space between each person, and we know that everyone who comes does enjoy the service here. As the number of cases drop, we'll revisit this later on in the summer to be sure that we can keep everybody as safe as possible and still enjoy each other's company here. And hope you have a safe summer.
All right, the Soup and Spirit readings are postponed until autumn. My goodness, okay. The Gong meditation with Joan Richards is tonight from 6:30 to 7:30, and I've heard that's absolutely amazing. Vibrations. Join Joan for an evening of gong song and meditation to encourage presence and sense of inner quiet and healing. The crystal ball healing will be here with Irene. Irene, are you here? Okay. I don't know who's been to that, but that's absolutely amazing. I had the honor of doing that. So if you want to try that, please come. It's on Friday, June 21st from 6:30 to 8. The men's group, Roy Wolfstead, he's not here. His group is Monday, July 24th from 7 to 9. And Awakening to Oneness with Love. It's a meditation with Jill Matthews, which I haven't gone to, but I've heard it's amazing. So join Jill as you awaken more deeply to the life by learning and practicing meditation and mindfulness. So now we'll have a reading by Lori, which after that I will invite the bell and give a treatment.
This morning's reading is from a personal story printed in Proceedings, the magazine of the Naval Institute. 2 battleships assigned to the training squadron had been at sea on maneuvers in heavy weather for several days. I was serving on the lead battleship and was on watch on the bridge as night fell. The visibility was poor with patchy fog, so the captain remained on the bridge, keeping an eye on all activities. Shortly after dark, the lookout on the wing of the bridge reported light, bearing on the starboard bow. "Is it steady or moving astern?" the captain called out. The lookout replied, "Steady, Captain," which meant we were on a dangerous collision course with that ship. The captain then called to the signalman, "Signal that ship. We are on a collision course. Advise you change course 20 degrees. There was no response. The captain said, "Send, I am a captain. Change course 20 degrees. The response, "I'm a seaman second class, and you had better change course 20 degrees. By that time, the captain was furious. He spat out, "Send, I'm a battleship. Change course 20 degrees. The response back was, "I'm a lighthouse." We changed course.
So now I ask you to join with me in knowing what I know is God, one mind, one love, known by many names, is always present and active in everything, an infinite source of all things within all things, the universal life force. And I am one with that source and one with every individual expression of that source. That power resides within everyone. I speak my word for everybody listening today. As Dr. Mary speaks, we open deep within as she shares her wisdom with us, and we hear the voice of Spirit speaking to us through Dr. Mary, telling us what we need to know at this moment. And we know that everything we could ever need is available through this teaching. We are love, we are peace, we are joy, and as the light shines through us, we bring the light into the world. And so for this, I give thanks. Thanks for the teaching. Thanks for this opportunity to pray together today. I release this knowing that in accordance with the law, all we have shared is already manifesting into our lives. And so we say together, and so it is.
The topic for the talk this morning is standing on truth. And it's a very interesting topic because truth can be many things to many people. Like It's going to be 112 here today for all of you that are watching us on Facebook, which might have lent to some degree people staying home. I don't know. It would have been me had I not been talking. Anyway, Reverend Sue is our senior minister, and I enjoyed her message in the July Awareness newsletter that we send out each month. And she wrote that when we begin to speak and live our truth, it becomes the groundwork for living out loud, which is the big subject for the year, living out loud. We align with our authentic selves, and if we're brave, we can face what happened some years ago in those, as Sue put it, the sticky messes. Anybody have a sticky mess in their past? Yeah. And so those things happen. And so I was thinking, what does truth today have to do with sticky messes in the past? And it has a lot to do with it. Perhaps we forgot a habit we might have picked up along the way, and it doesn't serve us today. Were we trapped in a half-truth? What's a half-truth? A half-truth about a sticky mess may have been, it wasn't my fault. Whatever that sticky mess was, it wasn't my fault. Because we know if it's a sticky mess in our life, we had something to do with it. So being alive today includes a constant search for truth. A lot of times, truth about our past, we have a bias about how we remember the past, as well as all our family and friends. They have biases too. Now, for the big T truth, I've got that. God is all there is. We're all creations of the one. Our soul's journey goes on to infinity, on into infinity after we leave this plane. And the background energy of the universe is love. And the universe operates on the law of cause and effect. But today, for some reason, probably many reasons, it's hard to discern truth from lies, truth from misinformation. It's really challenging, I think. You know, some days I think, oh, I heard that in 48 hours, that'll be debunked. 48 hours comes and goes and not a word. Well, in a week, we'll know the truth. Nah, maybe it might take years to know the truth. So it's a funny thing, truth. While a fact is true for everyone, everywhere, facts can be changed on new evidence. Oh, we thought that was true. We did think the earth was flat. And things get debunked over time, which is fine. And something true for one person may not be true for another. And it's our perception of truth that colors our perspective of reality. I'm going to say that again because it's important. Our perception of truth colors our perspective of reality. It's really something to think about. Because the truths we readily accept without doubt are universal truths, like the earth, the sun rises in the east, the earth revolves around the sun, water is tasteless and colorless, at least good water is. But the difference between facts and truth is that facts represent evidence, where truth combines evidence with values and beliefs. There was an article in Psychology Today magazine, I love that magazine, and it was entitled, What is Truth? And it begins with the fact that truth is quite difficult to answer. Even the world's greatest philosophers can't agree on what is truth. It depends on a reference standard, such as our perception. Our perception of truth colors our perspective of reality. You know, truth often relies on supporting evidence. We want to see some evidence that this is true. And also tools of assessment. How are you going to assess whether what I say is true? Now, that might include physics, mathematics, biology, something that we share a common belief in, like if it can be proven by physics, it must be true. But then I think about the medical field, and the medical field is so different because there are a lot of medicine truths, surgery truths, how to treat a disease truths, and most of the time, they're approached with the probability of success is. So how true is it? Statistics show, well, for me, how true is it? And then all the biases that each doctor, nurse, and researcher put into their research. if you have a bias, you might not put it in the report, but it might show up later when somebody says, why did you do this? And go, well, because I believe. So there's all these things to think about when we believe medical truths. In the end, most arbiters of truth operate mostly on claims that get challenged. That's what some people do all the time. Challenge anything that someone says is the truth. Pick at it until you see if it really is. So assessing information on the truth of medical procedures or the effectiveness of medicine also should include the quality of the procedure and the quality of life a person will have after they have this surgery. My brother is dying of throat cancer right now. He's back in Ohio. Never smoked or anything, and was in the Philippines when he was in the Army. And he went to the VA, and they said, you know, we can give you chemo, and then we can do radiation, and that'll take a year, and you'll be drooling in an assisted living house, not able to do much of anything, because we've seen this before. We've seen it before because 50 years ago in the Philippines, people got this virus, and it's now showing up. Now, what are you going to do about that? My brother said, the quality of life statement you made me feel no radiation, no treatment whatsoever, and so he's just dealing with it day after day. Some days he can talk better than others. Some days I can hardly hear him. And some days he can't eat because he can't swallow. But it's his choice, and I support him every day because he's doing what's true for him. And I admire that a lot. All right. So recognizing that truth does not automatically translate in acting truthfully, because that requires integrity. So you have a surgery. How's the surgeon feeling that day? Did they have a good day, bad day? Are they in the middle of a divorce? You know, are they acting in integrity in every moment? And so this article suggests that any truth that we decide, okay, that's true for me, should be called a work in progress. It's not forever, and it should be challenged as such. They say that this truth should be looked at like an elusive shape that is continually rediscovered in various shapes. And who knew 50 years ago the medicines we have today? That was true, but now it's even truer. Is it better? You know, all these things to think about. So here at the center, July is the month we're focused on speaking truth to circumstance. And it's the focus of the whole July issue of Science of Mind magazine. If you don't get it, it's a fabulous issue because it includes an interview with Don Jose. I know. I was trying to think, should I say his dad's name first? Or anyway, it's Don Jose Ruiz, and he's Don Miguel Ruiz's son. Don Miguel wrote the Four Agreements and is wildly famous. If you haven't heard of him, you really should. Christy's doing a class right now in the Four Agreements. And Don Jose Ruiz wrote a new book. It's called The Shaman's Path to Freedom. And he says a shaman is one who does self-healing and has reverence for the natural world, period. I thought that was such a simple thing to say, very sweet. I was also glad to say in his interview that he believes everyone's doing the best they can no matter how bad it looks. And I went, right on, Dear Emma. He's got Dear Emma's a quote that I dearly love from the early 1900s. And you know, we all have dreams about what could be and what we want to experience. And at some point, it can lead us to ask the question, well, if that's our dream, why are we here at this point in time? Why aren't we fulfilling our dreams? Why are we here? What's the purpose of our life? And a lot of times we say, I want this, and then our mind goes, but what if? And all of a sudden, fear takes over, and that dream doesn't look as exciting as it once did to us. So Don Jose reminds us that Mother Earth's message is, you don't have to plan to be happy because you're already there. Now, I don't hear any amens. Okay. He says, be grateful for what you have Get used to it for the rest of your life because you are the love of your life. Now that's a shaman. That's a shaman statement. Because Don Jose was not always such a sweet young man. He did a lot of very bad things to himself and hurt himself a lot that resulted at one point being blind for 3 weeks. He could feel things, he could hear things, he could feel his heart pumping and the energy around him, but he couldn't see. And yet during that time, he had very vivid dreams, really vivid dreams. And from that experience, he went to his father and he was ready to learn what Toltec means, artist of the spirit, artist of the spirit. And in that tradition, there's nothing, this is the best part, there's nothing to learn except what takes away our inspiration. What takes away your inspiration? I've pondered that a lot the last few days because I'm so inspired. I got projects out the wazoo. And yet there are things that will take my inspiration away. And it's good to know that because then I can address that in some way. For Don Jose, it was forgiveness of himself for how he had been living. Forgiving himself. And that paved the way that led to embracing this thing we call unconditional love. That now he was able to give unconditional love and receive unconditional love instead of being hurt and in such bad pain. It was a way to see human beings with new eyes, that were all unconditionally loved by God. So he stopped hurting himself. Good thing. He started being honest. Another good thing. He looked at those sticky times in his past with gratitude, not trying to forget them, but with gratitude because, you know what? It all brought him to where he is today. Don Jose sees the whole universe as one organism. And he says, no matter what we choose to do in life, we all have the same boss, God. So what are we doing with all this energy that we have? What are we doing with it? Are we going to hurt ourselves by not being truthful? Are we going to hurt others by not being truthful? Are we telling stories we know aren't real? Good things to think about. He said, there's nothing to learn except knowing what negative thoughts, beliefs, and activities take away our inspiration. Unconditional love and forgiveness help pave the way because wherever we go, there we are. We're the one that always shows up in our experience. And that's why I liked what Lori read about the captain on the battleship. He was initially had limited perception. He thought he was in this big fog and he saw this light. So he made some assumptions. And sometimes the reality in our life is like the captain. Sometimes we're in a fog and we can't see what's happening out there. And so I looked in some other books because I've got a nice library. And I picked out Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. And he shares principles he believes that serve us well in life. First one, being truthful. Integrity, honesty. And he says these combine to build the foundation of who people see we are. Are we honest? Are we truthful? Do we cooperate well with others? Another principle he calls is human dignity is stated in the Declaration of Independence. And then there's service, as we call it here, seva, contributing to the center, helping. Another principle for success is releasing our own potential, not holding back, releasing our talents. And then here's the one that I need the most right now, patience. Somebody's going, yeah. Okay. My husband's going through dementia. I'm the caregiver, and when he asks me something 5 times in 3 minutes, I have to just, and sometimes I don't. And so I really feel bad when I do that, when I just instantly react. So patience is on my mind a lot. So when we practice these principles, it adds value to our own personality when we're around other people. And if you doubt it, think about how you would live life if you didn't live with those principles. If you just lived with deceit and unfairness, stealing, I mean, what a horrible way to be happy in life. And so these principles are foundations for lasting happiness. Now, Don Jose's father, Don Miguel Ruiz, he wrote the Four Agreements, fabulous book, 4 ways to live life, and they're just so powerful. And the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. So what is your truth on that? Are you impeccable with your word? The second is don't take anything personally. And that's a big one. But what is your truth about that? Do you easily get hurt? And can you see all this from a different perspective, that we're all doing the best we can? The third is don't make assumptions. Now that's a challenge, and what is your truth about that? Do you make a lot of assumptions? Oh, this person's a real jerk. Oh, that guy's really good. Oh, this or that or whatever, especially in the political arena we're in right now. We tend to want to jump to assumptions that sometimes don't pan out. And the fourth agreement is always do your best. And what is your truth about that? Are you always doing your best? But he says it's okay to break old agreements. It's okay, because we get new information, and we're free to do that if we want to change our mind. Stop blaming the government, the weather, our parents. Stop blaming God, because he says it's up to you and me how we wreak havoc with our happiness. Sometimes we do. You know, when we were children, we weren't afraid to express our opinion. I love these kids back here. Charlotte, oh my God, grandson singing to his sister, "You are the face of God." Ugh. Awesome. Not afraid to express himself. But over time, we get responsible for things. We have duties and pressing issues that makes us more responsible, and sometimes we hold ourselves back. Now, at the end of his book, he invites us into a new understanding, a new dream, that we are living in this creation and we have infinite potential. We have the power every day, every moment, to make our life heavenly or hellish. Don Miguel has another book out called The Fifth Agreement. And you're going to be surprised if you don't know what it is. How many people have read The Fifth Agreement? 2. Well, you'll like this. The Fifth Agreement is be skeptical, but learn to listen. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. Because what we hear a lot of isn't true. So much of what we hear today isn't true. And learning to listen helps us understand the meaning of the symbols that people use when they talk, especially in a political arena over the next couple of years. What symbols do you hear in what they say? What does it mean to people when they say that? Are they lying? Are they wanting you to buy something that they're not really selling, but they're telling you they are? So I think the Fifth Agreement's really great for what we're coming into. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. So we listen to the person's values, not just what they say. What kind of a person are they? What kind of a family do they have? What's their background? And what do they believe? What are the symbols behind the words they say they believe? So in this way, our skepticism will bring attention to anything that doesn't sound truthful. And so you can trust yourself. That's the best part. And in the end, he asks, what kind of a messenger are you? What kind of a messenger are you? Are you a messenger of gossip? A messenger that you're a victim? Or a messenger of a warrior who goes on to one fight after another? Do you bring heaven and hell into life every day? Or are you really going for happiness? Are you a messenger of truth? So bringing more truth into the world begins with each one of us. We can't help change the world if we can't help change our own self. And so with the 4 agreements, add that 5th. Do this by loving ourselves, by enjoying life, by making our personal world a dream of heaven. And in that way, The war in our minds will go away, they'll fade away. It's our choice to be living in truth. You know, I found a short poem. I love John O'Donohue, if you know the poet John O'Donohue. And his book, To Bless the Space Between Us, had a really nice short poem, 3 lines, but I thought it would be a nice way to close this. It's called To Come Home to Yourself. May all that is unforgiven in you be released. May your fears yield their deepest tranquilities. May all that is unlived in you blossom into a future graced with love. So join me in a spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer. We know the truth for us here at this center that God is all there is, that infinite intelligence that created everything, created each one of us with love. We were made with love. And with that love, we do many wonderful things. We do the best we can to live a life of truth, gratitude, happiness, joy, courage, all these beautiful things that we have the capacity to use every day in our life. And I accept for myself and everyone here today that, darn it, this week I'm working harder on that. I'm working harder to bring more love into the world, to bring more truth into my relationships with people and family and even neighbors. Truth is precious. It can be argued about, but I know in my heart what I believe. And that's all I know. It's all I need to know. So I give great thanks in this expression today of having truth be our foundation, a solid foundation in life. And I'm so grateful for all the people that contributed to this compilation of different aspects of truth. Because it varies so much. And yet I know that if I need to get clear, I can find methods, find people, find papers, find sacred texts to help me find it. But in the end, I find it. And it brings me joy. So I offer that joy to you today. If you're uncertain of your truth in any area, be the conqueror. And that's my belief for your consideration. And I let these words express to the universe. And they are filled with my love to you. And so it is. Thank you.
Sorry for the awkward silence. All right, I'll be doing a combination of 2 songs that I really, really like. They're both gospel hymns from way back when. And if you want to sing along, feel free. Some of the lyrics are very, very, very easy, so.
This morning with my
everybody with my mind stayed on Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Everybody with your mind stayed on Jesus. Love everybody with your mind stayed on Jesus. Love everybody with your mind stayed on Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. My trials on earth someday will cease. Someday, someday, and I will have unending peace. Someday, some happy day. Someday. Some happy day from sin, set free. Oh, I'll live with God for ages. Someday, some happy day. No more in darkness I will roam. Someday, someday, but rest eternally at home. Someday, some happy day. Someday, some happy day from sin, set free. Oh, I'll live with God for ages. Someday, some happy day. Someday, some happy day from sin, set free. Oh, I'll live with God for ages. Someday, some happy day. Someday, some happy day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So although we aren't having lunch today, there's coffee and tea and water and plenty of room in the social hall to gather. And thank you for coming. And if a new person like you would like a tour of the grounds, we're here for you. Huh? Oh. I was so excited. I'm sorry? You bet.
Come on, Chair. I was wondering why you were. Let me take this. I gotta find this.
I just wanted to point out that the SOAR Adventure, which we normally do every third Saturday, was moved to this next Saturday, which is July 22nd. Gary went to check out the trail in Panther Meadows, and there's a foot of snow there. So if you want to roll in the snow in July, you can go to Panther Meadows and do that. But what we're going to do instead, because the trail can't even be seen and it's a little slippery, we're going to go to McLeod and we're going to do the Three Falls. So we'll be along the river. It's cool, mid-90s, but it won't be 114. So join us next Saturday, and the details are here. And if you want the full itinerary, I just need your email or go on to our SOAR Facebook group, and that'll be posted tomorrow. Thanks.
Okay. May I have the ushers come forward, please? We're doing it our way today. As I prepare to give my offering, my heart is filled with love and appreciation, since what is offered here today is for my spiritual well-being. I am filled with gratitude, knowing life stays in balance, for as I give, I receive. I give thanks for the blessing, but donations I received here in the offering this morning and during the week. I know each dollar supports this spiritual family in many ways as we grow together, pray together, and give thanks for all that this Spirit has been blessed with today and always, and so it is. We have tea and water and coffee in the social, and a song, hang on.
Oh, there we go. All right, let's end it with a big one. This one is Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. One more time. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. but now I see.
Do I have to say it again? Should I say it for the third time? There's coffee and tea in the social hall. Enjoy your day.